Hello and welcome to 1969 Baseball. Today, the Cubs are going to continue this West Coast road trip with a stop in Los Angeles. After a travel day from taking 2 out of 3 from the Astros, they now show up to face the Dodgers for a 3-game set. In today's game, we're going to see the Cubs send Bill Hands out to the mound to face the Dodgers. Bill Hands is making start number 9. He is 3-3 with a 2.34 ERA and a 1.16 WHIP. And the Cubs lineup today will be Gossger, Beckert, Williams, Santo, Blomberg, Hundley, Kessinger, Banks, and Hands batting 9th. The Dodgers lineup will feature Alan Foster on the mound making start number 5. He is 2-2 with a 5.16 ERA, 1.59 WHIP. And the Dodgers lineup will be Von Joshua, Sizemore, Fairley, Costco, Sudeikis, Crawford, Haller, Lefevre, and Foster, the pitcher, batting 9th. It is 69 degrees, a beautiful day in Los Angeles, and the wind blowing in from left at 11 mph. And we are ready to get this game underway at Dodger Stadium out here in the hills of Los Angeles. Gossger facing Foster to lead off for the Cubs here in the top of the first inning. The Cubs are coming into today's game 6th place in the East with a 16-23 record. The Dodgers 4th place in the NL West at 19-17. The season series is currently tied between these two teams. Now, Gossger facing Foster, and he is hit with the first pitch of the ball game. So Foster hits him with the pitch, putting him on first, and now Gossger, who's fairly speedy, I believe is going to try to steal a base here. Haller, the catcher, I'm not sure what is his arm like. He's average ability. So, all right, let's see, pitch by pitch mode. Beckert facing Foster. Here's the first pitch, and that is a fastball in the outside corner for strike 1. So now we are going to try to steal on the second pitch. 1 strike count. There goes the runner. The throw goes down to second. The slide, and Gossger is going to be safe. He got a really good jump. He is 4 for 5 in steal attempts now. So Beckert facing Foster with a 1-1 count. And here's the pitch to Beckert. And a grounder towards short. Picked up and thrown over to first. That's going to be out number 1. So Foster holds at second on the ground ball, and it brings up Billy Williams with 1 out, 1 man on. 2-1 is the count to Billy Williams. Here comes the pitch. And a ground ball to first base, picked up and thrown away. The catcher, or the first baseman, throws it away. He tries to flip it to the pitcher, and that's going to allow the run to score from second. Billy Williams safe on second with the error, and the Cubs have grabbed a 1-0 lead here in the top of the first inning. Ron Santo now the batter. He comes up with 1 out and a runner in scoring position. Here's a 2-1 pitch to Ron Santo. And he's going to pop that one up to short center field. Coming in as the center fielder. Going out as the shortstop. And Sizemore calls for it. He makes the catch for out number 2. Blomberg is the next batter. 2 outs and 1 man on. Blomberg waiting for the 1-ball count and the pitch. And there's a drive into the gap in left center field. That's going all the way to the wall. I believe it's going to drive in another run. Billy Williams rounding third and heading home. Blomberg rounding second, heading for third. He is going to slide in with a triple. And the Cubs on the RBI triple now have a 2-0 lead. So the Cubs jumping out to the early lead here in Los Angeles. And now Randy Hundley is the batter. 2 outs and a runner 90 feet away. Foster facing Hundley with a full count. And there's a drive into left center field. However, this is going to be medium depth. The center fielder goes over, and Joshua makes the catch to end the inning. The Cubs score twice, beneficiaries of an error by the Dodgers, and we go to the bottom of the first of a 2-0 ball game. Bill Hands now facing Von Joshua. Bottom of the first inning, leading off for the Dodgers. Here's the first pitch from Bill Hands. He has been red hot lately. Here comes the pitch. There's a ground ball to short. Kessinger has it. Oh, and he bobbles it. However, he recovers and throws to first, and the throw is late. So that is going to be an error for Kessinger. And now Sizemore is the batter. Runner on first, nobody out. Here is the first pitch, and the runner goes. The throw goes down to second. Hundley's throw goes into center field. And now the runner goes all the way to third. That's 2 errors in the inning for the Cubs. And now Sizemore batting with nobody out and the runner 90 feet away. Hands facing Sizemore with a 1-ball count. Here comes the pitch. And a ground ball to short. This is going to allow the run to score as the Cubs concede the run. The throw goes to first for the force, and that is going to make this a 2-1 ball game. So now it is 1 out, nobody on. Fairly facing Hands in the bottom of the first inning. Full count. Hands delivering the pitch. There is a pop-up in foul territory down the first base line, and Ernie Banks makes the catch. That's out number 2. Costco now the batter. 2 outs and nobody on. Hands facing Costco with a 1-strike count. And there's a grounder up the middle. That's going to be a base hit. So the first hit of the ball game for the Dodgers in the bottom of the first inning. And now Sudeikis comes up with a runner on first and 2 outs. Here's the 1-strike pitch and a grounder to second. Beckert has this one. He throws over to first, and that will end the inning. So the Cubs allow a run to score on the error. We go to the top of the second of a 2-1 ball game. Kessinger facing Foster here in the top of the second inning. 2-strike count. Kessinger waiting for the pitch. He's going to drive that one the opposite way into left field. Coming in is the left fielder, and he makes the catch for out number 1. Ernie Banks now the batter. 1 out, nobody on. Foster facing Banks with a 1-1 count. And here is the pitch. And there's a grounder to third. Picked up and thrown over to first. That'll be out number 2. Bill Hands now the batter with 2 outs and nobody on. 1-2 is the count. Bill Hands waiting for the pitch, and he's going to ground that one to short. Picked up and thrown over to first to end the inning. The Cubs go down in order. We go down to the bottom of the second of a 2-1 ball game. We go now to the bottom of the second inning. Bill Hands on the mound facing Willie Crawford of the Dodgers. Leading off for the bottom of the second. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Hands delivers. And that is strike 3 called. Hands gets this first out of the inning and first strikeout of this ball game. Tom Haller now is the batter with 1 out and nobody on. 1-ball count. Haller waiting for the pitch from Hands. Here's the delivery and the pitch. And a ground ball back toward the mound. Hands has a hand on it. He throws it over to first. And that is out number 2. Jimmy Lefevre is the next batter with 2 outs and nobody on. 2-1 is the count. Hands delivering the pitch. And Lefevre pops it up to left center. Going over his Gossger. It goes over his head. He misjudged it. And that's going to be an extra base hit as Lefevre slides into second with a 2-out double. So, now the Dodgers, with a chance to tie this game, have the tying run in scoring position, and the pitcher Foster is the batter. 2 outs, runner on second. Here's a 1-2 count, and Foster goes down swinging at a slider. So Hands ends the inning with a flourish. That's a strikeout, his second of the game. We go now to the top of the third of a 2-1 ball game, and Gossger coming up in the top of the third. He's going to look to atone for that misplay out in center last half inning. Gossger waiting for the 2-2 pitch. And there is strike 3 called. Gossger strikes out looking. First strikeout of the game for Alan Foster. Next up, Glenn Beckert. 1 out, nobody on. 2-ball count. Beckert waiting for the pitch. And there's a drive to left center. Medium depth. The center fielder, Joshua, goes over. He calls for it and makes the catch for out number 2. Billy Williams now the batter with 2 outs and nobody on. 2-2 count. Billy Williams waiting for the pitch. Ground ball to short, picked up and thrown over to first to end the inning. So the Cubs go down in order. We go down to the bottom of the third of a 2-1 Cub lead. Vaughn Joshua leading off for the Dodgers against Bill Hands in the bottom of the third. Here is the 2-2 count and the pitch. Swing and a miss for strike 3. The sinker notches the strikeout. That's number 3 of the game for Hands. And it brings up Sizemore. 1 out, nobody on. 2-2 count. And the pitch and a ground ball to short. Kessinger has it. This time he fields cleanly, throwing to first, but the throw is late. So beating it out for an infield single is Sizemore. And that brings up Ron Fairley. With 1 out, 1 man on. Hands looking for the ground ball double play right here. And the pitch. And there's a liner into center field. That's going to be another base hit. Gossger has it. He throws to third as prevents the runners from continuing to advance. So now the Dodgers have the tying run in scoring position, and Andy Costco is the batter. 1 out, 2 men on. Hands facing Costco. First pitch. And a grounder past the third baseman down the left field line. That's going to tie up the ball game. Chasing it down into the corners, Billy Williams. 1 run is in. The throw comes into the cutoff man. The runner stops at third. And we have a tie ball game here in the bottom of the third inning. So Ron Fairley heads to third. Costco with an RBI double. And we're all tied up at 2. Hands now facing Sudeikis with 1 out and 2 men on. And this is going to be a situation where an intentional walk will be issued to Sudeikis. Well, we're going to pitch around him. No, you know what? We're not even going to mess around with that. We're just going to intentionally walk him. So that'll load the bases, setting up the force at any base with 1 out in a tie ball game here in the bottom of the third. And now Crawford is the batter. Bases loaded, 1 out, 2 strike count. Hands delivers the pitch. Pop up to left. Williams is going to have it. However, this is plenty deep as he's on the warning track. He makes the catch. The throw comes home, and the throw is late. So the go-ahead run scores on the sacrifice fly, and the Dodgers now have a 3-2 lead. Haller now is the batter with 2 outs and runners on first and second. 2-ball count. Hands delivers. Ground ball back toward the mound. Hands throws over to first, and that'll end the inning. So the Dodgers score twice. We go to the top of the fourth of a 3-2 Los Angeles lead. Ron Santo now leading off for the Cubs in the top of the fourth inning. 2 strike count. Santo waiting for the pitch. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Santo goes down swinging, and now Blomberg is the batter. He is 1 for 1 with an RBI in this game, coming up with 1 out, nobody on. 1-2 is the count. And Blomberg waiting for the pitch. And a pop-up to short left field. Coming in is the left fielder on the run, making the catch for out number 2. Randy Hundley now the batter with 2 outs and nobody on. Here is the first pitch to Randy Hundley. And there's a drive, right center field. Going back toward the warning track is the right fielder. He makes the catch in front of the wall to end the inning. So Hundley gave it a ride, but it wasn't quite deep enough. We're going now to the bottom of the fourth of a 3-2 ball game. Hands facing Lefevre, who is 1 for 1 in today's game. Bottom of the fourth inning, 2-ball count. Hands looking to deliver the pitch. And there's a grounder to short. Kessinger has it. Throwing over to first, that's going to be out number 1. Next up is the pitcher Foster. 1 out and nobody on. 1-2 is the count. Bill Hands delivering the pitch. Popped up to center. Gossger taking a few steps in and looking up to make the catch for out number 2. Vaughn Joshua now the batter. 2 outs and nobody on. 1-1 count. Vaughn Joshua waiting for the pitch. And a grounder to first. And Banks bobbles it. And the runner is going to be safe at first. That is the second error of the ball game for the Cubs. Third error of the ball game for the Cubs. And now Sizemore batting with Joshua on first and 2 outs. We're going to throw over to first just to keep him honest. The throw goes over, and Joshua is back safely. So now the pitch to Sizemore. Here it comes. The runner goes. The throw goes down to second, and it is late. So Joshua picks up his 4th stolen base of the season, and now Hands facing Sizemore with a runner in scoring position and 2 outs. Here's a full count pitch, and ball 4 is called, so the walk is issued. He heads down to first, and now Ron Fairley is the batter with 2 outs and 2 men on. Hands struggling with a full count. Here comes the pitch, and a drive into left. Billy Williams looking up, and that is going to reach the seats. And the Dodgers now have a 6-2 lead here in the bottom of the fourth inning. A 408-foot home run off the bat of Ron Farley, and that gives the Dodgers 3 runs here in the bottom of the fourth. Hands now facing Costco with 2 outs and nobody on. Hands delivering the first pitch, and Costco grounds to short. The throw goes over to first, and the side is retired, but the error proves critical. As 3 runs score in the inning, we go to the top of the 5th of a 6-2 ball game. Kessinger facing Foster here in the top of the 5th. 1-ball count. Here comes the pitch. Kessinger lining that one in center field. That'll be a base hit. So Kessinger giving the Cubs a leadoff single. And the next man up will be Ernie Banks. Banks making the error last half inning. He's going to face Foster with nobody out and a runner on first. Banks waiting for the 3-0 pitch. And there's a pop-up to left. I don't know why he swung at that pitch. The left fielder chases, and he makes the catch for out number 1. Next up is the pitcher Hands. With 1 out and 1 man on, this is going to be a sacrifice situation. Hands looking to lay down the 1-1 pitch. There's the bunt back toward the mound. The first baseman actually has it. He throws to a second baseman covering first, and that'll be out number 2. So now, Hands getting the sacrifice, advancing Kessinger to second, and it brings up Gossger. 2 outs, 1 man on. 2-2 pitch to Gossger. Here it comes. And a drive to left center field. Fairley is chasing, but the center fielder going back, and Joshua makes the catch on the warning track just short of the wall for the 3rd out of the inning. So the Cubs strand a runner. They do not score. We're going to the bottom of the 5th of a 6-2 ball game. Hands continuing to work here in the bottom of the 5th inning. He's allowed 6 runs, but only 2 have been earned. Facing Sudeikis with a 2-2 count. Hands delivering the pitch. Popped up behind third base. Santo chasing. He calls off Kessinger and makes the catch for out number 1. Crawford now the batter. 1 out and nobody on. 3-1 pitch to Crawford. Here it comes. And there is ball 4. So that walk is issued as the runner heads down to first. And now Tom Haller is the batter. 1 out, 1 man on. 2-2 count. Hands delivering to Haller. And a pop-up to right. Blomberg taking a few steps in. He looks up and he makes the catch for out number 2. Next up is Jim Lefevre. With 2 outs and 1 man on. Lefevre waiting for the pitch from Hands. And there's a grounder to first. This time Banks fields cleanly. He steps on the base and that'll end the inning. So, the Dodgers strand a runner. They do not score. We're going to the top of the 6th of a 6-2 ball game. Glenn Beckert leading off for the Cubs here in the top of the 6th inning. Waiting for the first pitch from Foster. Here it comes. And a grounder to third. Picked up and thrown over to first. That'll be out number 1. Next up is Billy Williams with 1 out and nobody on. 1-1 count. Billy Williams waiting for the pitch. Popped up into center. The long run. And Joshua gets under it for out number 2. Santo now the batter. 2 outs and nobody on. Foster facing Santo. 1-1 count. Santo hits it on the ground towards short. Picked up and thrown over to first, and Santo is thrown out by a step to end the inning. We're going to the bottom of the 6th now of a 6-2 ball game. So, Hands coming out for inning of work number 6. He is facing Foster to lead off for the Dodgers. First pitch in the bottom of the 6th inning. Here it comes. Ground ball to third. Santo has it. He throws over to first, and that'll be out number 1. Hands now facing Vaughn Joshua with 1 out and nobody on. Here is the first pitch to Vaughn Joshua. And a grounder past the first baseman in right field. That's going to be a 1-out single. So Hands gives up the single, which puts the runner on first with 1 out, and Sizemore is the next batter. Sizemore is 1 for 2 with an RBI today. He is waiting for the pitch. The runner goes. The throw goes down to second, and Hundley's throw is late. So Joshua gets a 5th stolen base of the season. He's now in scoring position with 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 3-1 count. And here's the pitch from Hands. And there's a grounder to third. The hot stab by Santo stops it from getting into left field, and that'll be thrown out over to first for out number 2. Nice defensive play by Ron Santo, and that brings up Ron Fairley. With 2 outs and the runner still on second. Hands working. Here's the first pitch. And there's a pop-up to right. Blomberg chasing toward the corner. He has a line on it, and he makes the catch for out number 3. So, the Dodgers strand a runner. They do not score. We're going to the top of the 7th of a 6-2 ball game. The Cubs sending Blomberg up to lead off here in the top of the 7th inning, and a reliever will be warmed up. A reliever will be warmed up for the Cubs, as we're going to see the lefty Don Eddy will be asked to pitch in the bottom of the 7th inning. Blomberg facing Foster. Here comes the pitch. The first pitch from Foster. And a drive into straightaway center field going back over his head as Blomberg is going to have extra bases. He's going to have a stand-up double to lead off for the Cubs in the top of the 7th inning. And now we're going to see Randy Hundley come up with nobody out, runner on second. Cubs down by 4. Top of the 7th inning, Foster working with a 1-strike count. Here's the pitch. And a pop-up, again going back in center field. However, much more time to get under this one. Making the catch on the warning track, and that's going to be out number 1. Tagging up and advancing to third is Blomberg, which brings up Don Kessinger. 1 out, 1 man on. Foster facing Kessinger with a 2-2 count. Here's the pitch. And there's a ground ball to second. They're going to concede the run, getting the force at first for the second out of the inning. The Cubs score as Blomberg comes home to make this a 6-3 ball game. And now Ernie Banks is the batter with 2 outs and nobody on. Foster facing Banks in the top of the 7th inning. Here is the first pitch to Ernie Banks. And he's going to ground it over to third. Picked up and thrown over to first. That'll end the inning. And the Cubs get 1. We go to the bottom of the 7th. It's time to stretch here in Los Angeles in a 6-3 Dodger lead. So, Hands is going to face Costco. And then he will probably be relieved after that. So, Hands working in the bottom of the 7th inning. 1-strike count. Here comes the pitch from Bill Hands. And there's a grounder to short. Kessinger has it. He throws over to first. That's going to be out number 1. Now, the new relief pitcher is going to be Don Eddy, and the Cubs are going to do a double switch. Eddy is actually going to come in to the number 8 spot and pitch, and Wes Parker is going to lead off for the Cubs and play first base in the 8th inning. So, now that we have the double switch done, Eddy is going to face Sudeikis. The lefty Eddy has thrown 4 1/3 innings, allowed 9 hits and 8 runs, 8 walks and 4 strikeouts for an ERA of 16.62. But I'm hoping that he's going to perform a little better here today. So, Eddy facing Sudeikis with 1 out and nobody on. 1-1 count. Eddy looking for the sign and delivering the pitch. And there's a liner up the middle. That's going to be a base hit. So, a 1-out single off the bat of Sudeikis, and he stops at first, bringing up Crawford with 1 out, 1 man on. Crawford facing Eddy here in the bottom of the 7th inning, and there's a line drive to right going all the way to the wall. Blomberg makes the play. He gets it back into the cutoff man. However, the run is going to come around and score, and now the Dodgers have a 7-3 lead here in the bottom of the 7th inning. So Eddy is now going, we're going to have to warm up another reliever, I suppose. We're going to visit the mound. Yeah, he's got plenty left in the tank, but Eddy now facing Haller with 1 out and runner on second. Here's the 2-0 count, and there's a ground ball to first. Parker has it. He steps on the base, and that'll be out number 2. Going over to third is Crawford, and now Lefevre will bat. He's 1 for 3 today with 2 outs and the runner on third. Here's the 1-1 pitch from Eddy, and there's a liner into center field. That's going to drive in another run. The Dodgers are going to take an 8-3 lead on the RBI single by Jim Lefevre. And now Foster, the pitcher, is coming up. He's going to face Eddy. So if Eddy can't get Foster out, Diego Segui is going to be brought in to relieve, I'm sure. So Eddy now working with a 1-2 count to the pitcher Foster. And there's a swing and a miss for strike 3. So 2 runs score. We go to the top of the 8th of an 8-3 ball game. And now Foster facing Parker to lead off for the Cubs in the top of the 8th. The Cubs are down by 5. Here's a full count and the pitch to Parker. And a drive down the right field line. That's going to be extra bases for Parker. He's rounding first, heading for second. This is going to be a leadoff double as he slides in safely for the Cubs in the top of the 8th inning. Next up is going to be the Cubs leadoff hitter, Jim Gossger, here in the top of the 8th inning. Runner on second, nobody out. Here's the 1-strike pitch to Gossger, and he's got a little tapper out in front of the plate. The throw goes over to first, and that'll be out number 1. The runner advances to third. Parker, and that'll bring up Glenn Beckert with 1 out, 1 man on. Foster facing Beckert. First pitch. And a liner into center field. That'll drive in the run. So the Cubs have now made this an 8-4 ball game. Beckert has the RBI single. And now we go to the Billy Williams being the next batter with 1 out, 1 man on. Beckert, not particularly quick over there at first base. Williams working. Here's the pitch. And there's a drive to right field. I believe he got all that one. That one's headed for the bullpen. Billy Williams has just made this an 8-6 ball game with a 2-run home run in the top of the 8th inning. 399 feet out to right field, and the Cubs are now down by 2. Ron Santo now is the batter, and he's going to face former Cub Phil Regan here in the top of the 8th inning. With 1 out and nobody on, Santo facing Regan. Regan's thrown 20 1/3 innings, walked 6, struck out 11, has a 3.10 ERA. Regan looking to earn the save here in the top of the 8th with 1 out and a 1-1 count. Santo waiting for the pitch. Regan looking for the sign. And here's the pitch. And a pop-up on the infield. The shortstop coming over. He'll make the catch, and that'll be out number 2. And Regan was injured on the play, and he's going to come out of the ball game. So now Pete Mickelson is the next pitcher for the Dodgers. He's coming in 7 1/3 innings, thrown 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, and a 4.91 ERA. Certainly hope that nothing bad happened to Regan there. So Mickelson facing Blomberg with 2 outs and nobody on in the top of the 8th inning. Here's a 2-0 count. Blomberg waiting for the pitch. Mickelson looking for the sign and the delivery. And there's a drive into center field. Going back as the center fielder. It's over his head. Heading into second with a double is Blomberg as he crushed that one into the deepest part of the ballpark. So a 2-out double for Blomberg, and that'll bring up Randy Hundley. 2 outs, 1 man on. Cubs down by 2 in the top of the 8th inning. Mickelson facing Hundley with a 1-strike count. And there's a ground ball to short. Picked up and thrown over to first, and that is going to end the inning. So the Cubs get 3. We go to the bottom of the 8th of an 8-6 ball game. And Diego Segui is warming. We're going to visit the mound. Segui is ready. So Eddie is going to face the lefty Joshua. I don't know if that's even a really good plan. Eddie really struggled last inning. I think that we're going to have to pull him. We're just going to put Diego Segui right into this game. So what are we going to do? I guess we'll just put Diego Segui in, and then we'll pinch hit for him when the next inning comes around. So Segui comes in. He's thrown 24 2/3 innings, 15 walks, 22 strikeouts, and a 2.92 ERA. He's going to face the top of the Dodgers lineup in the bottom of the 8th inning. 1-1 is the count. Diego Segui looking for the sign and delivering the pitch. And there's a drive into left field. Billy Williams on the run, going to make the catch for out number 1. Sizemore now the batter with 1 out and nobody on. Here's a 2-strike count and the pitch to Sizemore. And there's a swing and a miss for strike 3. So Segui disposes of Sizemore with the curveball. And now Ron Fairley is the batter. He is 2 for 4 with a home run and 3 RBIs in this game. He's facing Segui with 2 outs, nobody on in the bottom of the 8th inning. Here's a 1-strike count. Segui delivering the pitch. And a liner past the first baseman into right field. That's going to be a 1-out single as Fairley stops at first. He has now had 3 hits in the game, and Andy Costco is the next batter. With 2 outs and 1 man on, Costco facing Segui with a 2-strike count. Here's the pitch. Liner up the middle. That's another base hit. Dodgers keep the hit parade going as Gossger's throw goes directly to third. So now Segui has to face Sudeikis with 2 runners on and 2 out in the bottom of the 8th inning. Full count. Here comes the pitch. And there's a pop-up on the infield. Kessinger coming in. He calls off Santo and makes the catch to end the inning. So the Dodgers strand 2. We go to the top of the 9th with the Cubs down by 2. And Mickelson is going to face Kessinger to lead off for the Cubs in the top of the 9th inning. We are going to warm up Jim Brewer in the event that we have to go to the bottom of the ninth, which would be really nice, Cubs need to score 2 to tie here in the top of the ninth inning. Gossger facing Mickelson with a full count here in the top of the ninth inning. And there's a drive into the gap in right center field. That's going all the way to the wall. Lead-off extra base hit for Don Gossger as he slides into second with a double. So the Cubs now have a runner in scoring position, and the pitcher's spot is coming up, which means we're going to have a pinch hitter here in the top of the ninth inning. The pinch hitter is going to be the lefty Willie Smith. So Smith is going to step up from the left side against the righty Mickelson. Runner on second, nobody out in the top of the ninth inning. Here's a full count pitch to Willie Smith. Here it comes. And a pop-up into right. I believe that's going to drop in for another base hit. Stopping at third is Gossger. He wasn't sure if that ball was going to be caught or not, so he hesitated. And now Cubs have runners on the corners, and Wes Parker is the batter. Top of the ninth inning, nobody out. Cubs looking to rally here against the Dodgers bullpen. Here's a 1-2 count. Parker is waiting for the pitch. And there's a swing and a miss for strike 3. So Parker goes down swinging. That was a changeup at the knees, and it brings up Jim Gossger. With 1 out, runners on the corners. Cubs trying to tie this ball game here in the top of the ninth. Here's a 2-strike count, and the pitch to Gossger is on the way. And a swing and a miss for strike 3. So Gossger goes down swinging, and suddenly the Cubs are down to their final out. In an inning that started out so promising, now Glenn Beckert is the batter. 2 outs, 2 men on. Beckert is 1 for 4 with an RBI today, facing Mickelson here in the top of the ninth inning. 2-strike count. Beckert waiting for the pitch. And a drive down the left field line. That's going to drive in a run. Rounding second, heading for third is the next runner. Beckert is going to come all the way to third with a sliding triple. And we have a tie ball game here in the top of the ninth inning. So Smith scores all the way from first. And now, this is an 8-8 tie here in the top of the ninth inning. Nice piece of hitting by Glenn Beckert with 2 outs to tie up this ball game. And now Billy Williams is the batter. He is 1 for 4 with a home run today. He's facing Mickelson with 2 outs and the go-ahead run 90 feet away here in the top of the ninth inning. Here is the first pitch to Billy Williams. And he hits that one into center field. That is going to, a diving play is going to end the inning. Man, that had base hit written all over it. So now we're going to the bottom of the ninth of an 8-8 tie here in Los Angeles. So Jim Brewer is going to be brought in to pitch for the Cubs here in the bottom of the ninth inning. He is going to have to face the 6, 7, and 8 batters in the Dodger lineup, and then if it gets that far, probably a pinch hitter for the pitcher. So the lefty Brewer comes out. He's thrown 17 2/3 innings, 10 walks, 11 strikeouts, and a 6.11 ERA. Brewer facing Crawford with 1 ball count here in the bottom of the ninth inning. Brewer looking for the sign and delivering the pitch. And a liner into right field. That's going to be a leadoff base hit for the Dodgers. So the winning run is on base here in the bottom of the ninth inning. Crawford is average speed over at first, and now James Burnett is going to be the pinch hitter. The lefty Brewer facing the righty Burnett, a former Cub, here in the bottom of the ninth. Nobody out, runner on first. We're going to try to pick off that runner on first. We're going to throw a pitch first, and there's a foul tip for strike 1. And next, we're going to throw over to first and chase the runner back. And now, we're going to throw over to first again and chase the runner back. Not even close. And now we will pitch to Burnett with a 1-strike count. And there's another foul tip. So that's a 2-strike count. And we're just going to go ahead and try to finish off Burnett. Here's a full count pitch and a swing and a miss for strike 3. So Brewer gets the strikeout. He gets Burnett to chase a bad pitch. And that is the first out of the inning. Lefevre now the batter. With 1 out and 1 man on, we're going to throw to first on the first pitch here, and Crawford isn't going anywhere. Now we will pitch to Lefevre, and that is low for ball one. So let's see here. Another full count. And there's a grounder to third. Santo has it. He throws over to first, and that's going to be the second out of the inning. So the runner advances to second on the fielder's choice. Lefevre is out at first. And now the Dodgers have 2 outs and the winning run in scoring position. And Willie Davis is going to be the pinch hitter for the Dodgers. The lefty Brewer facing the lefty Davis here in the bottom of the 9th inning. 2 outs, runner on second, and we're going to go ahead and intentionally walk Willie Davis. We do not want to face him in this situation. I'd much rather face Vaughn Joshua. So, issuing the intentional walk, going to set up the force at any base. And up next is Vaughn Joshua with 2 outs and 2 men on. Bottom of the 9th inning. Brewer working with a 2-2 count. And there's the swing and the miss for strike 3. So Brewer gets his second strikeout of the inning. The Dodgers strand 2. We're going to the top of the 10th of an 8-8 ball game. And now Bruce Brubacher is going to be the new pitcher for the Dodgers. He comes in with 10 2/3 innings thrown, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts, and a 5.91 ERA. And Ron Santo is going to lead off for the Cubs in the top of the 10th inning. Now, the Cubs need to warm up another reliever, and this time it's going to be Jim Britton, who will face the Dodgers in the bottom of the 10th inning. Brubacher facing Santo. Full count. Santo waiting for the pitch. And here it comes. And that's a check swing and ball 4. So Santo draws the walk, and that is going to immediately prompt a pinch runner. Herm Hill will be brought in to pinch run for Santo, as Blomberg is the next batter. So Blomberg facing Brubacher with Hill at first, nobody out in the top of the 10th inning. Blomberg waiting for the 1-1 pitch. And here it comes. And he's going to drive that one over toward third. The throw goes to second. However, there's no relay to first. So Hill breaks up the double play, and he might have been injured, but he shakes it off. It doesn't matter because he's out. It's not like he gets to stay in the game, in this inning anyway. So Hundley now facing Brubacher with Blomberg on first and 1 out in the top of the 10th inning. And now probably going to go ahead and try a steal here at some point in this sequence. There's the throw over to first. Yeah, they knew he was going to try to steal potentially. Hundley now facing Brubacher. Here's the first pitch. That is inside for ball 1. And that was a curve. So let's see what pitch number 2 is. There's a foul tip on another curveball. And now, gosh, Brubacher is good at holding runners too. I don't know how much I want to try this, but Hundley is such a great candidate for a double play that I don't really want to get into that situation either. So, Hundley facing Brubacher, swinging away with a 1-1 count. There's a pop-up into short center field. The second baseman goes back. He makes the catch. That's out number 2. And now Kessinger is the batter, with 2 outs and the runner still on first. Brubacher facing Kessinger. The switch hitter steps up from the left side against the righty Brubacher here in the top of the 10th inning. Blomberg looking to steal on the first pitch here. Brubacher, he throws over to first. Pickoff throw, and he is safe. So now Blomberg's going to try to steal on the second pitch. Here it goes. That's a curveball. The throw goes down to second. The slide, and Blomberg is out. So Hammock throws out the base runner, and that ends the inning. Well, we're going to the bottom of the 10th of an 8-8 tie. And now, Britton, well, so first we got to figure out, all right, who's going to play third? That's actually going to be Al Montreal. So Montreal is going to come in and play third, and he'll lead off in the next half inning. Cancel. No, Montreal is going to play third. And now Britton is going to come in and bat fourth. So Britton facing Sizemore to lead off for the Dodgers in the bottom of the 10th inning. Here is the first pitch from Britton. He has a record of 1-1, an ERA of 3.2 with 19 2/3 innings under his belt, and that is ball one. Oh, we got to switch this back. All right, so Britton working with a 1-ball count. Here's the pitch, and a ground ball to short. Picked up and thrown over to first. That is going to be out number 1. Next up is Ron Fairley with 1 out and nobody on. Here's a 2-2 count and a grounder to first. This time Wes Parker has it. He steps on the base, and that's out number 2. Costco is the next batter with 2 outs and nobody on. Britton working with a 1-2 count. Here comes the pitch, and a grounder to third. Picked up by the new third baseman, Montreal. He throws over to first, and that will end the inning. So, the Dodgers go down in order. We go to the top of the 11th of an 8-8 tie. And Brubacher now facing Kessinger. He was at bat when the previous half inning came to a close on the steal attempt. 1-2 is the count. Here's the pitch to Kessinger. And a swing and a miss for strike 3. So Kessinger goes down swinging, and it brings up Montreal. 1 out, nobody on. Montreal waiting for the pitch from Brubacher. And there's a grounder to third. Picked up and thrown over to first. That's out number 2. Next up is Wes Parker with 2 outs and nobody on base. 3-1 is the count to Wes Parker, and he checks his swing and he takes ball 4. So Parker heads down to first with a 2-out walk, and it brings up Gossger. Parker, not really very fast. We're not going to attempt to steal here. So Gossger facing Brubacher with the go-ahead run on first and 2 outs in the top of the 11th inning. Here's a 1-strike count and the pitch to Gossger. And there's a liner down the left field line, chasing and making the catch to end the inning is the left fielder Crawford. So the Cubs stranding a runner. We go to the bottom of the 11th of an 8-8 tie. And now Britton facing Sudeikis here in the bottom of the 11th. 1-2 is the count. Britton delivers the pitch, and that is strike 3 swinging. So that'll be the first out of the inning. Crawford now the batter. 1 out and nobody on. Here is the first pitch to Crawford. Britton delivering. And a liner up the middle. That'll be a 1-out single. Gossger gets it back into the cutoff man as the runner stops at first. So Crawford now standing up first with a single. He's the potential winning run, and Hommick is the next batter. 1 out, 1 man on. 1-strike count, and there's a pop-up to center. Gossger adjusting toward right center fielder. He calls for it and makes the catch for out number 2. Now Lefevre is the batter. 2 outs, 1 man on. Lefevre batting from the left side against the righty Britton. Here's a 2-strike count and the pitch, and a swing and a miss for strike 3. And Britton strikes him out to end the inning. We're going to the top of the 12th. It is still an 8-8 tie here in Los Angeles. Glenn Beckert is going to lead off for the Cubs in the top of the 12th inning. And we're going to warm up Hamilton on the off chance that the pitcher spot comes up with with somebody on base. So Beckert facing Brubacher with a 1-2 count, and here is the pitch. And there's a drive deep left field. Going back is the left fielder Crawford to the warning track, and he makes the catch for the first out of the inning. Certainly gave that one a ride, but it wasn't nearly deep enough, and now Billy Williams the batter. He is 1 for 5 with a home run already in this game. Williams facing Brubacher with a 1-strike count. And here comes the pitch. And Billy Williams taps it towards second lightly. The throw goes over to first, and that's out number 2. And now we're going to let Britton bat for himself against Brubacher because I'd really rather have him throw another half inning. Here comes the 2-strike count and the pitch to Britton, and there's a pop-up to center. Going back is the center fielder Joshua, and he makes the catch to end the inning. So we're going to the bottom of the 12th of an 8-8 tie. And Hamilton is ready should he be needed. Britton is going to face a pinch hitter Robert Long here in the bottom of the 12th inning, leading off for the Dodgers. Britton working with a 2-2 count. Here comes the pitch. And a swing and a miss for strike 3. Britton gets him with the curveball. And now Vaughn Joshua's the batter. 1 out, nobody on. Britton facing Joshua with a 1-2 count. Here comes the pitch. And a liner into center field. Coming in is Gossger. He looks up and makes the catch for out number 2. Sizemore now the batter with 2 outs and nobody on. Britton working with a 1-ball count. Here comes the pitch to Sizemore. And there's a grounder towards short. Kessinger has it. He throws over to first, and that'll end the inning. So Britton works a third scoreless inning. We're going to the top of the 13th of an 8-8 tie. Blomberg is going to face the new Dodger pitcher, Fred Norman, here in the top of the 13th. Norman's through 3 2/3, 7 hits, 5 earned runs, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts for an ERA of 12.27. So let's see if the Cubs can break through against Fred Norman here in the top of the 13th inning. Norman facing Blomberg with a 1-ball count. Norman looking for the sign and delivering the pitch. And there's a ground ball to second, picked up and thrown over to first. That's going to be out number 1. Next up is Randy Hundley with 1 out and nobody on. Hundley 0 for 5 today, waiting for the 1-2 pitch. And Norman gets him to swing and miss at a screwball for strike 3. So that is the second out of the inning, and it brings up Kessinger. 2 outs, nobody on. 3-0 count to Kessinger. Norman delivering the pitch. Way inside for ball 4, so he heads down to first. And that puts the go-ahead run on base for the Cubs, with Al Montriel being the next batter. 2 outs, runner on first. Top of the 13th inning, 1 strike count. Here's the pitch, and that's a liner into right field. That's going to be a base hit. Rounding second, heading for third is Kessinger. The throw goes to third, his slide, and he is safe. And so now the Cubs have runners on the corners with 2 outs, and Wes Parker is going to be the batter. Here in the top of the 13th inning, Norman facing Parker with runners on the corners, 2 outs. Tie ball game. Here's a 2-strike count and a liner into right field. That is going to be... Oh, and the ball is dropped. The ball is dropped and the run scores. Ron Fairley makes an error. And the Cubs have a 9-8 lead here in the top of the 13th inning. So now Jim Gossger is the batter. The runners advance to second and third on the error. Cubs getting a huge break here in extra innings in Los Angeles. Still 2 outs, 2 men on. Gossger facing Norman with a 2-ball count. Here comes the pitch to Gossger. And that's a grounder to first. Picked up and stepping on the base is the first baseman, Costco, to end the inning. So the Cubs get a run. We go to the bottom of the 13th of a 9-8 Cub lead. And Hamilton is going to get warmed up again. Britton facing Fairley. We're going to visit the mound. He says he's battling through some fatigue, but he knows he can get some more outs. Britton facing Fairley here in the bottom of the 13th inning. Cubs up by 1, trying to nail down this game. Here is the first pitch to Ron Fairley. He is 3 for 6 on the day. And there's a drive to right field. Blomberg, however, with plenty of room, adjusts to his left and makes the catch for out number 1. Next is Andy Costco with 1 out and nobody on. Britton facing Costco with a 1-1 count here in the bottom of the 13th inning. Here is the pitch. And a grounder past the third baseman into left field. That's going to be a 1-out single. So the Dodgers now have the tying run on first with 1 out in the bottom of the 13th inning. And Britton now facing Sudeikis. This is going to be, man, what do we do with Sudeikis here? I feel like we're going to pitch around him, as Britton needs to give Hamilton a little more time to warm up. Here's the 1-strike count and the pitch to Sudeikis, and there's a grounder to third. This time Montriel has it. He throws to second, the relay to first, and there's a 5-4-3 double play to end the game. So the Cubs are victorious 9-8 in 13 innings. The Cubs getting 9 runs on 11 hits with 3 errors. The Dodgers 8 runs on 15 hits with 2 errors. The Cubs staging a rally in the late innings of this ball game, scoring 6 runs to tie it in the 8th and 9th innings. So Ron Fairley is actually the player of the game for the Dodgers. Fairley went 3 for 7 with 2 runs, 3 RBIs in the game. And he hit a home run off Bill Hands. So, Hands threw 6 in the 3rd inning, 7 hits, 6 runs, but only 2 were earned, with 3 walks and 3 strikeouts. The Cub bullpen, after Eddie, the Cub bullpen threw 6 innings of scoreless relief, including 4 innings from Jim Britton, who earns the win going to 2-1. He threw 4 innings of 2-hit baseball with 3 strikeouts and nailed down this win for Chicago. So the Cubs improving to 17-23 while the Dodgers fall to 19-18. Thank you for watching 1969 Baseball.